My name's Paul Merigedic. I'm Head of Apprenticeships at Creative and Cultural Skills. My job was Head of Apprenticeships. I suppose my overarching remit is, in a sense, is to encourage employers to take on apprentices and all that entails beneath that. Yeah, I do believe that. Everyone knows what apprentices are, or apprenticeships are, because they've been around since the 1300s. So people have a concept of what apprentices are, but in certain sectors they haven't been prevalent. So they've been more in the traditional sectors, certainly in craft and the guilds, construction, hairdressing. So they've been established there, but it's very new to our industry that the apprenticeships are taking place. So it's been a case of really trying to. People understand the premise of it, but it's a case of really trying to get people to understand exactly what it entails and the value and benefits of those apprenticeships. So I think we've shifted from it's not for us to, well, that's interesting. This is a good way of actually developing our workforce. This is a good way of instilling our beliefs from day one, our values from day one. So people are shifting from, no, it's not something we do, to considering it, to actually taking action on it and employing apprentices. So we've gone from 2009, the sector's gone from 0 apprentices to over 2,500 apprentices in that sector. Apprenticeships are, in our sector, on average, from what we know, we get about 60, 70 applications for every apprenticeship in our sector. It's a popular area. There's only 2 ways you can get an apprenticeship, really. One is to talk to an employer and encourage them to take you on as an apprentice, which is the same as every job. One is to actually work with someone who would take you on in a job, and another one is to apply for a job. Now, all apprenticeships are advertised through the National Apprenticeship Service vacancy service. So it's key to any young person is registering on there registering all their details on there, and then they can actually apply for any jobs that become available, any apprenticeship posts that become available. And you can filter for creative and cultural sectors as well, or you can put in keywords like theatre that would actually lead you through to any jobs, any vacancies that are around that kind of role. Once you apply, obviously the key thing is it's very similar to a lot of jobs, but what we know is that applying is a paperwork. There's 2 stages. There's the application process, then there's an interview process. The application process, we know people who tend to get through that process because it's written on paper, ones that can show they've got an interest in that area of work or any activity that they've done in that area of work. That's the first stage of the process. The second one is the interview stage, and what we find from talking to employers is that the key to that is the attitude, not what you've done previously, but the attitude that you bring to that interview. So if there's enthusiastic about it, keen to learn, keen to be involved, you've got more chance of being recruited by employers. So because the employers, in a sense, because they're usually entry-level jobs, the employers will actually think in terms, they will recruit for attitude and then train the skills when they get into the workplace. So it's critical that your attitude comes across, that positivity comes across in any kind of interview situation, more than what you've done previously. So as part of Creative and Cultural Skills, we have a National Skills Academy for Creative and Cultural Skills, and in a sense that's the kind of core part of our work. It's about getting into and getting on in the industry, and we have different strands that fall out of those, kind of that overarching aim. And so the getting into, in the sense, is young people from 13 upwards, how they get into the industry. We run a series of websites, we run a series of events called Creative Choices that start to educate and do careers advice on how to get into the industry. The getting on in is when we've actually got people in the industry, what do we do with those people in the industry? So there's a training element and upskilling people in the industry. Now that whole body of the National Skills Academy is made up of ourselves as the body itself, but also we've got industry members, so people from industry that want to be part of that partnership to take it forward, but also we've got educational members, so colleges and training providers that will support the whole skills agenda. So if we're talking about getting into and getting on in, there's a whole learning the skills agenda that cuts across the both of it. So our industry members are all up and down the country, and we work together to bring industry and education together as well, or industry and further education together, so that we can support We can train up the next generation of practitioners in our industry via the college system, but also we can support the colleges to deliver quality-driven education by using the skills and knowledge of the industry itself. So we cut across those both areas. Apprenticeships, in a sense, covers both, because it's all about getting in the industry, but then it's, when they get through the front door, then it's about learning from industry and learning from education to make them more employable in the future.